Week 17 NFL action is here, Kyle. Only one more week left. A lot to be differentiated here because we are talking playoff football. Some teams getting in, some teams going home, some teams playing at the string, some teams, Kyle, getting close to 3 touchdowns today. I'm Donnie, RightSide is Kyle Purviance. We are Bookmakers Review, and it's time to talk some NFL action, Kyle.
Yeah, and I certainly hope you all had a happy and safe New Year. Obviously, it was safe if you're here joining us, so that's a good sign. If you're in here with us, that means you're still alive after New Year, so congratulations on that. Week 17, usually the final week of the season, but we get a bonus week this season. I love that, absolutely love that. It's a big day. Playoff movement's going to happen today. We're going to find out who's in, who's out. There's going to be a lot of things decided today. Few games with some bad weather, by my account, 4 or 5 games here where the weather could be a factor, a lot of cold temperatures. And so there's going to be some team total. I have a team total under that I like as well. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I'm excited for the show. And we got a lot of games, so we got to put the pedal to the metal.
Yep, fastest 30 minutes in football. We're about to kick it off. But if you guys are watching through our YouTube channel, thank you guys for doing that. If you haven't done so yet, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on every time we go live and talk NFL football right through to the Super Bowl. You get it delivered to your inbox here. If you're watching us through our Twitter channel, thank you for that. And also give us a follow there as well at BMR Reviews. But you're right, Kyle. We got a lot to get to, so let's get it started today. Woo, what a roller coaster this week was so far for 101, 102, and that's Las Vegas and Indianapolis. That means Derek Carr is starting it. Hey, look who actually was confirmed they started just a few hours ago, Carson Wentz for the Colts. So all that tells me is the Colts are winning this game, just a matter of by how much they will win this by. But again, you're taking a look at some over-unders here, 46.5 dipping lower. Indianapolis, you don't have Carson Wentz there throughout the week. Says he's asymptomatic. He should play fine, but obviously we know this offense goes through Jonathan Taylor. The 8.5, so I recommend taking that. Not so much when you could add 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, and now to that 8 number. But make no bones about this one for me. If you like teasers, I don't bet a lot of teaser games. Colts are a perfect teaser spot for me, Kyle.
Yeah, this is absolutely a teaser spot. And even if you're betting the sides, it's Colts or nothing. Now, you never like taking them when they got to win by double digits, especially with the topsy-turvy week they sort of had. But what are the Raiders going to do in this game that concerns you against the Colts? The real weakness of the Colts, the way to attack them is to attack that secondary. Just the weapons for the Raiders aren't there. They haven't really stepped up. I know Renfro's tried. Zay Jones has been okay here. But that running game for the Colts should absolutely obliterate the Raiders. They allow the 4th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Now you bring who has been the best running back in football this season, Jonathan Taylor, into the mix. You get some of those offensive linemen back for the Colts. Yeah. That front 7 is going to shut down Josh Jacobs. It's Colts or nothing for me. I consider their team total at 27.5. I do think they can score points. I backed away just a little bit because you worry about maybe they're a little bit off early in this game and you need a lot to go right later on. But the Colts should dominate here. Love it in a teaser spot. I completely agree. You get that under. You get it under a field goal. It's absolutely what should happen. And if I had the proverbial gun to my head, I'm still taking the Colts minus 8, 8.5.
Yeah, I think they get the job done today. The Colts are one of those teams you're probably not going to want to mess around the playoffs. And also, finally, the Colts are healthy at the right time here, playing good football and heading in towards the playoffs. They can go a long way to clinching that playoff berth today with a win over the Vegas Raiders. And just to let you know, player rushing props in this game, no more. There's no more like, hey, man, I'm going to get this guy at the bottom of the barrel. Jonathan Taylor to FanDuel Sportsbook, Kyle, 108.5.
That's not value.
Usually it's like, hey, they can get to 60 or 70 yards. They're basically telling you, yeah, this guy's got to go off. And when I tell you that 108.5, is anybody out there, Kyle, like, yeah, you know what? I'll take the under on that. No shot.
Yeah, no, you just can't touch that one, right? That's about. I mean, he should have 100. I hope he does. He's in my DFS lineup, and he's priced through the freaking roof. So I hope he gets there. But again, the Raiders struggle mightily against the run. Colts starting to get some of those offensive linemen back. It should be a field day for Jonathan Taylor.
We want some pain in this next game here, 103, 104. And I got to tell you, I was really close, guys, to taking the Bears team total over in this game against the Giants. The Giants are washed up. The Giants are dead. But here's the issue that you run into. The total for this game, Kyle, between the Giants and the Bears is 36.5. And the Bears have moved up from a 4.5 to a 6. I think Andy Dalton probably has a pretty good game today. But if you're taking a look at weather conditions out there, low 20s, 15, 16 mile an hour winds, an ugly day. So if you like pain, usually Kyle and myself say, hey, you know what? Let's take one of these bad teams to the over. How about this one? I like the New York Giants team total 14 to the under. I can't see them scoring more than 14 points this game. They don't have any. I mean, Saquon Barkley's a shell of his former self, a horrible offensive line, a dreadful quarterback, and nobody at wide receiver that's either A, playing, or B, gives a damn about playing in this game here. I think the Chicago Bears walk to an easy victory. I normally would have taken that Chicago Bears over, which is 21.5, but I got a feeling if the Bears get to like 16 points, they can just shut it down. But having said that, I did take a bet today on a David Montgomery anytime touchdown. I think he finds pay dirt.
Yeah, that's a good bet. And I was going to say, if you're playing DFS or fantasy, the only plays in this one are the Bears defense or the running back, David Montgomery. Darnell Mooney's been okay. You'll probably see some short passes of Darnell Mooney. He's sort of been the lone bright spot for that receiving core.
Allen Robinson back today too, Kyle.
Yeah, Allen Robinson back today. So look, the under 16.5 for the Giants is minus 140. I don't disagree. How do you beat the Bears? The Bears still have a decent front seven, even without Khalil Mack. The real problem for them, they can't stop the pass. Well, who's throwing the ball for the Giants today? Yeah, it should be ugly. It's Bears or nothing. Again, I don't like taking Andy Dalton by a touchdown, but this is Andy Dalton's window at home as the favorite in the early window on Sunday morning. That is when Andy Dalton thrives. It's Bears or nothing for me. I like the Bears here. And you're right. I was close to that team total to over 20.5. It's at minus 135 over at BetMGM. I just didn't pull the trigger because I'm starting to get a little bit worried about the weather, and I don't want to be holding the bag with a team total and Andy Dalton ever, no matter what happens.
Yeah, they should cruise in this game. I think the Bears get an easy victory coming up here. Zachariah R says Quan can get 2 touchdowns. Well, he has 2 touchdowns on the year, so I guess theoretically he can get 2. But, I mean, he has just been a brutal running back. And I can't say I fault him all that much because the offensive line stinks, but it's pretty clear. You know, running backs that get injured just don't hold up all that well here. And I don't think there's going to have a big day. But I do like, obviously, Montgomery to get in the end zone in this one. Don't want to waste too much time. But if there was a little bit better weather conditions, Andy Dalton and the Bears should be in the 20s in this game. I really still think they get there. Didn't take it. Just decides, like, you know what? I'm not going to fill that. If we get down to the goal line, Montgomery's going to get a high usage rate in this game, and he should be able to punch one in here. Tampa Bay and the New York Jets, 105, 106, 47.5 is a total in this one. Tampa Bay favored by 14. How about this? Mike Evans, who was banged up with an injury and got COVID, and he's back today. Hey, how about the NFL, Kyle, using some common sense and saying, all right, test positive in 5 days, just come back onto the football field. And it looks like that's the case in just about every single player we're seeing. Also, Antonio Brown playing. Do I like the fact that Tampa Bay is banged up, but I don't like the Jets at all? Do I want to lay 14 on the road? I do not want to do that. Do I like the 47.5? No, I don't. It's one of those games, Kyle, that was like I saw it and I just moved on quickly. I really don't have any. Tampa Bay is going to win this game. I think we can both agree on that. But outside betting it, I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, and those huge spreads and all. I wouldn't touch this game with my ex-wife's money. Honest to God, I would not. I would run for the hills here. Maybe you can live bet it, get a better number on Tampa Bay if the Jets. There's a few defensive players out in that front for Tampa Bay, Shaq Barrett, etc. So maybe the Jets are able to put together an early drive, get yourself a better number in this game under that 10 points, or maybe they get off to it. We've seen the Buccaneers struggle, especially with these big spreads. So maybe, just maybe, the Jets can get you a better live betting number. Other than that, I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, warm over here on the East Coast today, Kyle. This game's set to kick off around 55 degrees. Maybe some, slight showers here, but light winds. Tom Brady should be able to operate and do whatever he wants in this game. But do they need to is the question. And it's not, hey, Kyle, they just have to win the game. Now, they got to win by basically 17 points for you to get a cover. Can they do it? Yes. Do I want to bet it? No, I don't here. Let's keep it moving here. Another blowout on the card here, 107, 108. Matt Ryan's going to be a sacrificial lamb up in Buffalo today. 14.5 as a total. 14.5 as a side. 46 as a total. Buffalo weather conditions today, Kyle, 24 degrees at kickoff, 10-mile-an-hour winds. Not exactly what you would want out of that pop gun arm here for, the Atlanta Falcons and Matt Ryan. I don't know how much they're going to give. I'm actually surprised that Atlanta has this good a record this late in the season. They'll get thumped today in this one. I actually like the game. Buffalo to win this. Do I want to lay 14.5? No, but I actually lean towards the under 46 and a half to 46 in this game.
Yeah, I like the under. You saw the reports. Now, it looks like all the bad weather is going to be gone before the game starts. There's just some snow on the ground, but it's going to be cold and it's going to be windy, and we've talked about it. Buffalo, even though this is a home game, they are not built for their home stadium. This is not a team that focuses on running the ball. No, they've been a little bit more committed the last couple of weeks. They're finally letting Devin Singletary be the feature back. I like his rushing prop over 57.5 at minus 115. I do think they get him the ball quite a bit today. I like the under in this game. I don't think Atlanta does a damn thing. I like that Bills defense and DFS. Just worry if the Bills offense can put up enough to get you to that over. I say no. I like the under there. And I'll even take the Bills team total under 30.5. I don't think they need to put up 30 points to win today. And in these weather conditions, I don't think they get to 30 points today. So I'll take the Bills team total under, but I do think they win this game, but I'm not touching a side here. The under in the game would be the bet for me.
Yeah, there's a odds boost on the FanDuel Sportsbook today. Basically, it's a glorified teaser. It has the Bills in it. Bills minus 1.5, Buccaneers plus a half, Patriots minus 2.5, and the 49ers plus a half today at minus 110. So I did participate in that. Has something to do with the Bills. I don't think the Bills are going to lose this game here, but we don't need to spend a lot of time on those. There's some better games to look at, particularly the next one here, 113, 114, Philadelphia and Washington. Jalen Hurts and Tyler Heineke, who missed the last game with Garrett Gilbert at quarterback. But if you remember, Kyle, The Eagles notoriously known for slow starts and then just ramping it up and punching teams lights out in the second half. So if you were to look at this game, the Eagles open up as a 3-point favorite, now sits at 6 to 6.5 across the board. I agree with that. The Eagles are winning this game. But if you do like the Washington football team today, Kyle, common sense, take them in the first half, getting a little bit more than a field goal, because if they're not covering at the half, they ain't covering at all in this game.
Absolutely right. The Eagles, I will not bet pregame anymore. I considered their team total. It's 24.5. Again, they'll probably get there, but you're going to be very, very nervous early in the game when you get to the half and they're winning 7-6 or they're down 6-3. You're right. If you're betting Washington, first half only, live bet the Eagles in the second half. It's a recipe for success. This team turns it on in the second half. Now, if they manage to find themselves in the postseason, they're going to have to fix that or they're going to get knocked out really early. But this is a notoriously slow starting team. Second half, live bet the Eagles. First half, take Washington. That's the only way to mess with these Eagles right now.
Yeah, it seems easy to do that here. Let me just scroll down, see if we have anything that pops off there. 44.5 might be a decent. The Eagles have actually been playing very good defense the past couple of weeks. The Eagles offense is, as much as it's not pretty to watch per se, that offensive line is filthy, and they just run the football at will. Jordan Howard is going to play in this game. Miles Sanders is not going to play in this game. So we take a look at, passing yards. It's pretty low for both. But very rare do you see an NFL game, Kyle, where both the quarterbacks are listed under 200 yards passing. Heineke at 197.5, Hurts at 199.5. Touchdown passes in this one. You're getting some pretty good prices. Over 1.5 for Heineke, plus 186, and Jalen Hurts over 1.5. That's at a plus 126 number. Rushing yards in this one, obviously look towards Boston Scott, picking up a couple more of the, headlines here, 41.5. Jalen Hurts, close to 50 yards at 47.5. Taylor Heineke, which I don't think is a bad one here, Kyle, over 11.5 rushing yards for Taylor Heineke. So some decent shots there. Anything else that you're looking at in this game here?
No, and just in the chat box, our boy Vitalist, we love him in there. He's talking about Todd Bowles' revenge in New York. Are we really betting revenge narratives for defensive coordinators? I don't know. Like, that's not enough for me. Of course, the Bucs should win.
The Jets should have revenge on Todd Bowles.
Yeah, exactly. For all the shitty years they had under Todd Bowles, I think the fans are going to be throwing shit at Todd Bowles. But you got to remember, a lot of good pass rushers out in that front set. They did get Evans and Brown back, but if you look at that defensive front, they're still going to be without a few guys, including Shaq Barrett. So it should hurt the pass rush.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in that one, but not a great one. I tell you what, it is a great one here. 1 o'clock, Kyle, 115, 116. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow in this one, teeing it up. Opened up at 4, dropped to 3.5. Over under here, opened up at 47.5. That's in the mid-50s. Now, if we're taking a look, not the greatest conditions for football because it's a little bit. Anytime you get something below freezing, it alters the game slightly. Is it they can't play? No, they're going to play fine. But you would rather have 65 degrees than 32 degrees. Winds around 10 miles an hour. And the more I looked at this game all week long, Kyle, it was Kansas City for me early in the week. I said, you know what? This is where they're turning the gas on. Win streak here. Maybe the Bengals aren't ready to win just yet, but there's a couple like things that you want to look at in this one. This is as healthy as the Bengals have been all year long. Like, you are getting every single player you need in this game to be healthy, and they have that. Technically, again, they don't have to win the game. They're getting more than a field goal. Can you see this game coming down to the end, close on the road? I can certainly see that here. But also, let's take a look at a deeper picture here in the AFC, Kyle. All those good vibes that you're getting here from the Cincinnati Bengals after their win last week. Hey, in command now of the AFC North. They can win the division, head into the playoffs. I got news for you. They lose this week, they're going to get beat by the Browns on the road next week. They're not even in the playoffs. So you want to talk about, this isn't a measuring stick game. Like, hey, let's see if we can hang around. This is one of those for me, Kyle. If Cincinnati doesn't win, I don't think they get to the playoffs. I like Cincinnati to get the cover here. Give me the 3.5.
Yeah, I think I do too. It's a little tough for me to take a side. I think that number's just about right. What I do like when I'm looking at team totals, I was really close to pulling the trigger and tweeting this out. This is the closest to honorable mention you can, from honorable mention to official as you could be. But you can get the Bengals team total at BetMGM over 21.5 at minus 155. So you need them to get to 23 points. Don't you think they're going to be doing everything? They are going to be going for it on fourth downs. They are going to throw the ball a ton. The Chiefs have had a good secondary this year, but the Bengals have 3 legitimate weapons at wide receiver and a tight end who's going to be more involved today. I like CJ Uzoma in DFS. I think the Bengals get over 21.5. You can take it 22.5 minus 145, get the 10 cents because we're sort of playing to the 23 number right there. But I think the Bengals, do I think they win the game? This might be a little bit much asking them to win the game against, the perennial power and the Chiefs here. It's a huge game for them. They're going to go all or nothing. I think they score points. The play for me, Bengals team total, let's say 22.5 minus 145 at BetMGM.
Yeah, it should be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. Like you're getting two elite offenses with now Joe Burrow not worried at all, Kyle, about that pinky injury anymore. Looks like he shook off the cobwebs, throwing for 5 bills. It's going to be a good one to watch, and I like the fact it's in that 1 o'clock slate here. You don't even have to wait for it. You're going to be able to get that right off the bat. Jacksonville and New England. Here's my favorite play of this week. New England has ballooned up in this game. Opened up some outlets 14.5, 15. We're now seeing 17.5s across the board. This is going to be a bludgeoning here. Normally, I don't recommend taking minus 17.5. They're going to cover that. They're going to win by 3 touchdowns in this game. But I don't even want to factor in that, hey, Jacksonville might play well. Jacksonville's going to get their brains beat in. I took the team total over at a minus 145 price at Caesars to go over the 27. They should be able to get, I said all week long to get in the 30, put my money where my mouth is today. Weather conditions shouldn't have any issues today. It's one of those games where it doesn't matter who you hand it off to, Damian Harris or Ramondre Stevenson. They both go wild. Mac Jones, this is one of the games, if you're Bill Belichick, you say, okay, 3 straight weeks, you didn't do much, Mac Jones. Now it's time to get your confidence back for a playoff run. I think they beat the brakes off of Jacksonville. They get into the 30s and cover that team total. Outside of that, everything that New England dials up should work here, offensively and defensively for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's New England or nothing. Now, you don't make a ton of money betting 17.5 point spread, so I probably won't be on that train. But this is kind of funny to me. I think this is the biggest odds I've seen all season long. We talk about these pain team totals. Jacksonville over 16.5, Donnie, is almost 2-1. It's plus 195. For Jacksonville to get to 20 points over 19.5, you're getting over 3-1. That's how bad. It's plus 320. If Jacksonville gets 20 points, you just got over 3-1 odds. I'm not saying do it, but if you really want to look for some pain, I mean, we are talking about what's supposed to be a professional offense, but 2-1 to get 17 points is a little bit bizarre. But yeah, it's New England or nothing. Jacksonville's terrible. Every facet of the game. Trevor Lawrence has not looked as good as advertised, and I do blame a lot of that on Darren Bevel, the interim coach, and Urban Meyer. But there's nothing good on offense. Now no James Robinson. The defense is putrid. New England should absolutely smash them. Am I betting 17.5? No way in hell. But you're right. The team total for the Patriots should hit. Just makes me a little bit nervous. Just a little bit nervous because it's not the most explosive offense. But my God, Jacksonville's bad, and there should be a defensive touchdown or 2 in this one as well.
Yeah, and I'm not even like being I actually think there's a legitimate chance that New England can cover their team total in the first half, which is how bad Jacksonville is. If not, they'll be in the 20s, and it's a second half. And the good part about this too, Kyle, let's say you do make it to the fourth quarter and they have 26 points. If they hand the football off and don't throw a single pass in the fourth quarter, they will still score a touchdown on that horrendous defense here. The bottom has fallen out on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And also, let's say they're human beings, right, Kyle? Going on the road, their season is done. They have an interim head coach. It's the holidays. They probably had some Christmas with your friends and New Year's Eve. Oh, man, we got to go to New England. Man, let's hurry up and get up there and catch this ass kicking and come back home. That's honestly the way I feel. I think dialed in New England resets their season today, and Mac Jones will be a big part of it here. I think they dominate in this game. Miami and Tennessee, good one here, Kyle. 3-point line across the board here as a slight favorite for the Tennessee Titans. Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins head on the road with a total of 41 in this game. Now, I know a lot of people are looking rain more prevalent in the second half than the first half of this game. And if we're watching bowl games there with Tennessee slipping all over the field, a lot of people had some comments there on Twitter like, hey, if they're slippery today, chewing up the field, we might not have a pretty clean track on Sunday. I got to tell you, I'm certainly looking forward to the under in this one as well, Kyle. I'll lean on the under 41 here, but I got to tell you, I think the Miami Dolphins hang around this game. I'll take the points at +3 here.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins are live dogs. The Dolphins can certainly win this game. Winning pedigree. They've won 7 straight games. I love that stat. They're the first team ever to lose 7 straight and win 7 straight. Really, really bizarre. But that defense has really ramped it up. What are the Titans? It's tough to run the ball against Miami. Early in the year, they really struggled. They have fixed that. And so have the Titans for that matter. That defense has been much, much better, especially once Derrick Henry went out. Both these defenses playing pretty well. I like the under here, but I think Miami's a live dog. Just when you look at what Tennessee's going to have to do, get the ball on the outside to A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. Will the Dolphins have the perfect recipe for that? Or Julio, excuse me, Nikhil.
Actually, it doesn't matter anyway.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. A.J. Brown, Nikhil, Westbrook, or Kiney, whatever the hell they want to call that guy.
Yeah.
But you have Byron Jones and Xavier Howard to deal with. A.J. Brown's going to be a great matchup on the outside. Things should be tough for that Titans offense. I like the under. I think the Dolphins, if you're looking for an underdog to bet today, you're looking for plus money, Dolphins are a live dog today for sure.
No, so I think they are too. Tannehill over 223.5, Tua over 240.5 in this game. Rushing yards, Tannehill 16.5, Hilliard at 25.5, Foreman 50.5, Tua Tagovailoa 5.5, and Duke Johnson 32.5. We'll see again. I want to see how the field actually holds up, and keep in mind again. Probably maybe more scoring in the first half than the second because that rain is supposed to kick in the third and the fourth quarter. We'll see. But it's a good game because it's going to determine playoff seeding, the Dolphins for real, because most people thinking, myself included, all right, Dolphins, I love you on 7 in a row. You can't take that away from you. But you beat the worst 7 teams in the history of the NFL, feels like, outside of the Baltimore Ravens, which you caught on a Thursday night in your own building. Outside of that, there's been nothing impressive. We'll see if they can pick up a W today to get an impressive win here. Rams and the Baltimore Ravens, last of the 1 o'clock games. Matthew Stafford versus Tyler Huntley is going to start in this game, as Lamar Jackson's been MIA for the past 2 weeks, whether it be COVID list, whether it be ankle injuries. He's not going to go. And that line is ballooned, Kyle. Opened up as a slight 3-point dog for the Rams. We're not seeing a full touchdown across the board. 46.5 is a total. I got to tell you, I do like the total a little bit in this game, because I like Huntley better than Lamar. If Lamar Jackson's not 100% where he can run around, I don't want Lamar Jackson anywhere near my offense. I think Huntley will be efficient enough to move the football, but at the same time, that banged up secondary for the Baltimore Ravens. If Sean McVay is a very smart coach, if he is smart, he is airing it out. Cooper Kupp over 100 yards, maybe a big dad Odell Beckham here. I think they handle their business here. Do I want to lay the 7? No, I don't. You could have had way less than that throughout the week here.
Yeah, absolutely. You're getting a bad number there. Team total for the Rams over 26.5. It's -135. It's official for me. You're right. They should be able to throw the ball. They should be able to run the ball. Sony Michel has been fine replacing Darrell Henderson. Rams getting Cam Akers back soon, but not today. It's smart by the Rams. Save him for the postseason. Yes. We saw what he did in the playoffs last year. But I like the Rams team total. I made it official. I just tweeted out too. I tacked on that Bengals over 22.5 -145. Let's make them both official here. For me, I'm not touching the 7, especially in Baltimore. Crazier things have happened. I did play the Rams defense in DFS. It's a little bit of weather concerns there. Huntley, I know everyone likes Huntley. Some people like him more than Lamar Jackson, but I think the Rams have the right recipe here. It's going to be a long day for Huntley. Rams should get it done. If I was picking a side, it's certainly the Rams.
Perfect teaser game.
It's a perfect teaser game. You're right. Load that up with that Colts one earlier on in the show that we talked about. It's a great teaser spot. But I'll take that Rams team total over 26.5 -135, and that's official for me today.
Yeah, and I'm not buying in. Baltimore's over a 7-point dog now. Oh, but they need it and this and that. I get it. They're a really good home team, but they're a really good home team when they have Lamar Jackson as an MVP player and also a legitimate defense. They have neither today, so a little bit different Baltimore brand. That's another game that you look at like, well, look at the statistics from the past year and the trends. How about the trends say you're having a backup quarterback and your whole team is out on defense? There's no trend that's going to back that up and let me bet the Baltimore Ravens here. 4 o'clock game, Denver and Los Angeles. Another one for me, a perfect teaser game. The Chargers now sit at 7.5. Got a lot of guys back from COVID this week. The Denver Broncos have a lot of guys with COVID this week, and Drew Lock is the starter. Drew Lock's not going on the road and winning this football game outright. I know the Chargers haven't played well and up to their ability. They lost to the Houston Texans. They had COVID. They're getting guys back healthy here. The Chargers win this game. Perfect teaser game for me. If I'm looking at a total 46, I still actually lean towards the over 46 in this game. But having said that, I'd feel more comfortable just saying, you know what? Let me lay the wood here with a Chargers teaser -1.5. They'll win this game by 3 or more.
I'm officially done with the Chargers. I'm done betting them. I'm done trying to fix it. They cannot stop the run. They are the softest team in the National Football League. They are absolutely putrid up front, and I can't trust a team that can't stop the run. Plain and simple. I mean, I know last week they had some guys on the COVID list on that defensive front, but that's not it wasn't anyone who's helping them stop the run. Now the Broncos are going to bring Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. I know Drew Lock stinks. I can't stand Drew Lock, so I can't pick the Broncos. The Chargers, way, way, way too soft for me to back them. It's a complete stay away spot for me. I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole. And if I'm betting it, honest to God, I'm taking the Broncos to cover because I just don't think the Chargers can stop the run. Their defense cannot get off the field. Way too many third and manageables for Denver. They're going to run the ball down their throat until the Chargers learn how to step up, be men, and actually show some toughness in the trenches. I'm not touching them.
All right, next up here for us, another blowout here situation. 13.5 years a favorite. San Francisco going with Trey Lance, who didn't hear a peep out of this guy, Kyle, for the last 3 months. 2 months or so, while Jimmy Garoppolo was playing really good football. Now all of a sudden, apparently, Trey Lance was the best thing they've ever seen, closest to Joe Montana in practice over the past 4 weeks, just coinciding the time that Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt. So we'll see how it plays out today. I don't think San Francisco has an issue with winning this game, but it's one of those where Davis Mills has shown himself to be competent over the past 2 months here with a bad football team, and just being competent might be able to get you in that number around double digits. Trey Lance is starting. The San Francisco 49ers will win, but I'm not going to take a guy with barely any starts under his belt in the NFL to go out there and cover 2 touchdowns, even though I think San Francisco is going to win. I'll take the points. And when I say take, I'm like, I don't really want to. 13.5 here with Houston for me.
Yeah, it's a lean to that. I mean, Houston, we've seen them. They've been able to score points. We saw them put up 34 points on that soft Chargers defense last week. The 49ers defense is not – this isn't your 49ers defense of the Super Bowl teams or a few years back. They do have some talent, but they're still weak on the back end. I will say I like Houston to cover here. Now, the 49ers should win, but my favorite play in this game, the 49ers team total under 30.5, minus 135. They're not going to be airing it out with Trey Lance today. This is going to be a ground attack. Elijah Mitchell will play in this game as well. You're going to see a lot of RPOs, a lot of quarterback keepers. Trey Lance is going to probably, if you can get, I don't know what the anytime touchdown price is on Trey Lance. Let me take a look at that. But I'm talking just a rushing touchdown here. Anytime touchdown. I like that quite a bit. But as far as covering 13.5, I'll pass. And it was really
plus
close.
120. He's expensive too, which tells you something.
Plus 120. Yeah. So there you go. Trey Lance anytime touchdown at plus money. I think that makes a whole lot of sense. And I'm looking here. By
the way, Debo minus 115. Is that not a lock? Is that not the? I might have to just get in on that right
Yes,
now.
Exactly.
I wasn't even looking this way. I just, Debo, I would expect it to be like a 165 minus, like over 150. 150. Debo Samuel scores in this game. That is happening here. So I'm going to take that.
Absolutely. And I got to tell you, I like the under 30.5 minus 1. I don't see the 49ers getting to 31 points. That number is way too high. It was really close to being official for me. If you're watching the show, I'm not going to tweet it out. But I love the play. 49ers under 30.5, minus 115.
Yeah, by the way, I'm taking that. I'm to the Debo Samuel minus 115. That is going to be on my board. So now I have 2 touchdown props today. Debo Samuel and also David Montgomery to score, both under 120. Love it. Absolutely. Here. Let's keep moving because we don't have to spend a lot of time here. There's one more good football game and then 3 that the NFL should be embarrassed that are going to play today. But let's get to the good one here. Arizona and Dallas. How about this? Opened up at 2.5 as a favorite towards the Dallas Cowboys. Kyle zipping across the board, 6.5, not breaching 7s, but you're getting close to that here. I do think you have a bounce back from Arizona because there's nowhere to go but down. But at the same time, do I think Dallas can win this football game? Absolutely, they will. The over-under at 52. In the past couple weeks, you see that Arizona offense, Kyle, and say to yourself, you probably should go under in this one. But I can't do it. It's a dome. It's 2 teams. One team, Dallas, looks like it's back on the high horse here with Dak Prescott playing good football. And Kyler Murray and that offense for the Cardinals, they can't sit back on that. Hey, let's run the ball and see what happens here. Like, Kyler's got to give a good performance. You're in a dome. I expect points in this one, and I think it's going to happen here. A couple of prop bets that I went with this, and I didn't fire on a ton of prop bets today across the NFL, but I did take a few here. Dak Prescott and Kyler Murray to combine for 500 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. That's boosted to a plus 230 price. I also took Kyler Murray and Dak Prescott each 1 touchdown in each half, and then I combined them at a plus 450 price to each do it, sort of like that little parlay. Yeah. I do think we get some offense this game. More likely to go over than under, but I'm not willing to take the Arizona Cardinals just yet since they're under a touchdown. I think Dallas wins this football game.
Yeah, and we've sort of seen Dallas play down. We expect them to play up. They get on this roll. They look great. I mean, they looked sensational last week, and then they plummet down. Think back to that Broncos game where they were absolutely blown out by Teddy Bridgewater and the Broncos. The Cardinals are live dogs here, plain and simple. I know they have been terrible, and I've been trying to buy low on the Cardinals. It burned me last week. But now we're getting a card. This was really another team total that was really, really close to official for me. Over at BetMGM, the Cardinals over 20.5 minus 140. So let's take your bet. If we get the 1 passing touchdown in each half from Kyler Murray, there's 14 points right there, assuming Matt Prater can pull his head out of his ass and make a kick. Right? Last week, he was absolutely brutal. Matt Prater was god-awful. But if he makes his extra points, the Cardinals should score 3 touchdowns today. Both these teams can score, especially if you're taking that over. Why not just leave the over alone, not worry about the 52? The Cardinals, if you're going to get 52 points in this game, the Cardinals got to get to 21. I like that Cardinals team total over 20.5 at minus 140.
Not bad. It's really not bad. I think both of these quarterbacks have a decent day today. I do think the Cowboys win. Do I want to lay the 6.5? Not so much. So I do lean towards the points. All right, we have a couple minutes left in the show. There's 3 games. They all stink. Carolina, New Orleans, Detroit, Seattle, Minnesota, and Green Bay. Normally, you'd say let's break these games down, but here's what I'm going to tell you. We don't really care all that much. Sam Darnold starting on one side. Taysom Hill's on the other side. Next up, Boyle is starting on one side versus maybe Russell Wilson's last game in Seattle. And then Sunday Night Football, which is supposed to be a decent one, Mannion is getting the start here in Green Bay versus Aaron Rodgers. You're taking a look to me. New Orleans should win easy. Seattle should win easy. And then the Green Bay Packers should win easy. Out of those 3 games, Kyle, does anything pique your interest? Because to me, they don't seem that bettable for me, and I'm not all that excited about either one of those 3 games.
No, I guess the only one for me would be maybe Detroit to cover that 8.5. They are getting DeAndre Swift back. The Seahawks do struggle against the run. How motivated are Seattle? We've seen Detroit all year long. They may suck, and they may have no talent, and they may have Tim Boyle at quarterback. But the Dan Campbells are going to fight their asses off. They're a scrappy little team. I could see Detroit backdoor covering Seattle here. That's about it on it. If you want to do a 3-team money line parlay, let me see what if we just did a 3-team money line parlay with the Seahawks, Saints, and Packers, it's minus 107. So that's not bad. You're getting near even money. I could see those 3 teams. That's the only way I'll bet these 3 teams. We'll put them all in a 3-team money line parlay, get near even money. I think all 3 teams, the Saints, the Seahawks, and the Packers, do win this game.
Yeah, and by the way, tonight in that night game, it's going to be freezing cold temperatures in Green Bay. You know, you're going to have Mannion at quarterback. This is a last stand here for the Minnesota Vikings. So what I'm trying to tee up here is I don't really like the wide receiver props here because Mannion's a starting quarterback. But there's no reason to say in this game, like, hey, look, let's not use Dalvin Cook up. Like, we're going to have a playoff run. You don't win tonight. There is no playoff run whatsoever. I think Dalvin Cook's usage rate is going to be absolutely through the moon. So you take a look at his rushing props, Kyle, 78.5. And if you look at his anytime touchdown score, it's a plus 140. Legitimate chances he should be able to get both of those. And as we said, like, you know, do a little like parlay here on that. What does that say here? Plus 228 for Dalvin anytime touchdown and over 78.5 yards. So just something to look at. Maybe if you have the extra money in the day today. But we certainly should have a decent card to look at here. But I do think there's money to be made. As I said, my favorite play on the card here is the Patriots team total over, Kyle. Your favorite play on the card, I know you already tweeted it out, was the Los Angeles Rams team total to the over as well. And guys, if you don't follow myself here at RightSide VP or Kyle at the
and I'll have one in the afternoon.
Exactly.
The afternoon window, I will have a team total for that afternoon window as well.
No, certainly able to have some fun. Well, hopefully, guys, you know, we kick off this new year by filling up some pockets here and having some fun. But thank you guys for tuning us in. A quick half hour getting ready for NFL Week 17. As always, tomorrow, both myself and Kyle will be back for the Donnie and Kyle Show here. And we're going to go over the final week of the season, Week 18, which, there are so many moving parts in Week 18 that those lines will be flying as of Monday. And where they end up next Sunday, which teams that are playing or not playing or don't care or care, it's an interesting week and a lot of money you can make by reading those tea leaves early in the week. So make sure you join us tomorrow for our early line show and get after it here. Well, I'm Donnie RightSide at RightSide VP. He's Kyle Purviance at DFS Bachelor, and we are Bookmakers Review NFL team. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning into the show. Again, if you're watching through our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button. Turn your notification bells on because we go live to talk NFL football. You will be able to come into the chat box and say hello. Now, it's a lot of games on that ticket, Kyle. Heading into the new year, what do we like to say? Hey, guys, good luck on those wagers.